Well, how amazing I get to do these all, and pinch me because I get to talk to so many amazing people here on the floor of the NRB. These are NRB Chronicles 2022, and so here's a different one: Grid Down Power Up. Like, oh my goodness, we have David Tice, the president or excuse me, the producer of Grid Down Power, and so I'm guessing that's some kind of a. And so tell me, what's Grid Down Power Up?
So, Grid Down Power Up is a documentary where the movie is going to turn into a movement. And this is about the vulnerability of our United States power grid, where if the power grid goes down, not just short term interruption, but for 6 months to 18 months, as many as 75% to 90% of Americans could die. And this is truly fixable. This is a bipartisan issue. This is an issue that's been known about for some 30, 40 years. And frankly, our legislatures haven't done enough about it.
Wow. So, how did you come across this information?
Well, I've been worried. I've been a bit of a prepper for a long period of time. I've actually had the highest ranking KGB spy who defected from the Soviet Union in my living room maybe 15 years ago. And this gentleman talked about how he worked from the Russian side with the Chinese about how their plan was to bring down the United States. And so I've been a bit of a cold warrior, but actually there are issues out there not just requiring a nation state. Terrorists could come in and knock out 9 different substations with just a few guys, like we saw at Metcalf, California. That was just talked about on 60 Minutes in late February of this year. Or there could be a geomagnetic storm. There could be a solar storm that emits these massive gamma rays that could wipe out the electronics on this Earth. So it doesn't necessarily require a state actor to bring down our grid.
And so it sounds like your documentary, like you said, is hoping it's going to do something about it. What, when you say there's an easy solution, like I'm with you that if the power went out, the there's catastrophic effects that trickle down, just like we see as a result of COVID. Who would have thought that now you can't get biscuits in the grocery store because you can't get the little canisters out of China? Like, and all the different trickle down things. What does that seem like?
Okay, so you made a great point, Robbie, in that our government typically does not prepare us too well. I mean, we did not have enough masks, enough ventilators, etc. They have not prepared us for this. We have Newt Gingrich, we have 4-star generals talking in our film about this. Ted Koppel actually did a book in 2015 talking about the vulnerability of the power grid from cyber attack. And therefore, what needs to happen, there needs to be better regulation of our power grid. There needs to be one person in charge. There needs to be an effort to what's called hardening the grid to protect it from some of these various nefarious forces. That can be done for just over $100 per citizen. But unfortunately, we've had obstruction that's taken place a lot of times at the utility level from lobbyists. And therefore, there needs to be stronger regulation. Utilities have essentially been regulating themselves. There is equipment out there that can be hardened, these substations, and these substations represent the lifeblood of our grid security. All this, and what's interesting, Robbie, is our missile defense, our strategic command control for our military. Our military is known about this hardening and protecting their infrastructure for decades. And unfortunately, our civilian infrastructure has been completely ignored.
Wow. And so, when is the movie out?
Yes, the movie's going to be out. Soft launch in May, hard launch with a premiere at Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, July 15th. And right now, you can go to our website, griddownpowerup.com. You can register. You can see our trailer. You can start spreading the word. Frankly, we need a movement. We need American citizens to stand up and let our legislators know that there's no reason that we can't do this. This is a truly fixable problem. This should be a movement akin to Contract with America or the Tea Party movement.
Wow. So I'm curious, why did you come to the NRB?
I came to NRB. I was involved in a movie, Soul Surfer.
Really? Were you?
I was the one that financed that, say, 10 years ago. And so I was on the set every day, had a small role in the movie. I'm still friends with Bethany Hamilton. I was there. We invited, 25 Christian broadcasters to the event to Hawaii, to be on the set. So I'm very familiar with the religious broadcasters. I know they represent middle America. American citizens, kind of the silent majority, need to stand up and we, this Christian audience obviously cares so much about family. They care so much about patriotism. They're commonsensical. They realize a risk and they realize that America can solve this problem.
So from your perspective, David, I love the fact that you were involved in Soul Surfer. I'm sensing you have a relationship with God, and He's kind of pointed you. You feel like this is something He's put on your heart specifically.
He really does, Robbie. So I've been concerned about this for a while, and I heard about a film that I thought it was 70% done, and frankly, it was maybe 30% done. And so I felt God calling on me with my background in film, with my patriotism. I had some time on my hands. I had a belief, with this experience with this Russian spy, and some geopolitical instincts. I felt God was tapping me on the shoulder and telling me, David, you need to move this forward.
Wow, absolutely spectacular. And so, what would you recommend? I mean, obviously, we can be praying that God will pick this up and then push it um, into people so that actually something gets done about it. But how would you have our listeners respond as they hear this?
I would say go to our website again, griddownpowerup.com. They can register for the film. We will keep you updated about events when the launch will be available, and then spread it to your friends. We're planning a pay it forward movement very similar to what The Chosen has done.
Oh yeah.
We have 20% of our proceeds going to fund 501c3 organizations that are going to be fighting on the ground to be able to go up against lobbyists to make sure that our legislators take action. So often, movements end up failing because of poor follow through. And a lot of times they just run out of money. We're going to fund a super PAC. We have an organization set up called the C-Suite Energy Security Council that's going to provide the infrastructure and organization such that we can follow through and help legislators, craft the right legislation that's working and help them overcome obstacles.
So spectacular. David Tice, Grid Down, Power Up. Thank you, my friend. God bless. That's
Good to be
awesome.
with you. Thanks.
Same here.